This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live.
Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shout-outs, so we can celebrate together. The shout-out submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shout-outs, so we can celebrate together. The shout-out submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shout-outs so we can celebrate together. The shout-out submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shout-outs so we can celebrate together. The shout-out submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5.
This is DX Central Live.
In the night, so dark and quiet, frequencies hum low like a riot. Tuning in with all my might, searching for a voice in flight. Cajun air, it holds the sound, radio waves from town to town. Static crackles, mix and turn, waiting for that name to learn. Signal fades, the name's unknown, trying to catch it all alone. Mystery calls, the night my friend, searching till the very end. Moonlight dances on the dial, rumbling with that Delta style. Notes float softly in the wind, still I wait for news to send. Signal fades, the name's unknown, trying to catch it all alone. Mystery calls, the night my friend, searching till the very end. Bayou whispers keep me still, craving for that lingering thrill. Misted voices lost in haze, echoes in this southern maze.
This is DX Central Live.
He's got his antenna way up in the air, dreams of Latin music out there somewhere. Cards in his hand, maps on the wall, late nights waiting, but he gets no call. All those radio waves, they play with his mind, searching for signals, but they're so hard to find. From Puerto Rico to faraway land, tune in the static, still no guitar in hand. He's there in the darkness, waiting for a sign, humming to the silence with a hopeful line. But the airwaves are quiet, nothing comes through. Just another night, feeling deja vu. All those radio on. From Puerto Rico, he's searching afar. Dreams of a broadcast beneath the bright star. And in his small room, by the glow of the moon, he waits for a melody, morning or noon. Signals may fail, but his hope never fades. Seeking the music his spirit demands. Another dawn breaks, he's still at the dial. With every sunrise, he promises a smile. From Puerto Rico to faraway land, tune in the static, still no guitar in hand. He's there in the darkness, waiting for a sign, humming to the silence with a hopeful eye. But the airwaves are quiet, nothing comes through. Just another night, feeling deja vu. Oh, those radio waves, they tease and they taunt, with promises of rhythms, with a hopeful line. But the airwaves are quiet, nothing comes through. Just another night, feeling deja vu. And in his small room, by the glow of the moon, he waits for a melody, morning or noon. Signals may fail, but his hope never fades. Seeking the music his spirit demands. Another dawn breaks, he's still at the dial. With every sunrise, he promises a smile. Someday the frequencies will carry his tune. Till then, he dances to the rhythmless blue.
This is DX Central Live.
I got my radio on, just trying to get on it. But my baby says no way, so I'm stuck in this chair. I dream of signals far from north to east to west, but I can't put up no antenna. She says it's for the best. Dreaming of DX, signals I can't hear. My baby won't let me, so I'm sitting here in tears. That static calls my name, whispering in my mind. But without that big old tower, the signals I can't find. I see the towers rise in a distant starry sky, but here I'm bound in time, can't even say goodbye. Dreaming of DX, signals I can't hear. My baby won't let me, so I'm sitting here in tears. Dreaming of DX, signals I can't hear. My baby won't let me, so I'm sitting here in tears.
DX Central Live is brought to you in part by
For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log, now in its 45th edition, is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. With a lifetime membership, the International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS-HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
It's a Friday night, Lloyd in the North Shore, setting frequencies right. AM and FM, the airwaves collide. DX Central Live, where the signals can't hide. Tuning in the static, chasing down the sounds. Every single signal is magic we have found. All radios hum, the chatters all agree. DX Central Live is the place to be. Folks in the chat, shout out your call. From east to west, we're breaking down the walls. It's the magic of the night, where frequencies fly. Join us now on DX Central Live.
From the Gulf South
to your corner of the world,
this is DX Central Live.
Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
From the North Shore Studios in Mandeville, Louisiana, we find ourselves once again in Studio A on a Friday night for DX Central Live. Episode 19 here for Season 5, my friends. Welcome. Welcome to the end of January. What? It's the end of January? I don't know. We're now squarely almost into February and middle of Q1. So that means a lot of day job work for me right now, which is why I've been kind of MIA for those of you on social media and Slack channel and stuff. Haven't really seen a lot of me. Been over here doing computer work on day job stuff. But we put all that on the side on Friday nights for you and us to celebrate together for DX Central Live. We bring you live DX. We talk about DX. We celebrate our DX successes. We have fun. We're just here to talk about radio for a while, right? Hopefully you've had a good week of DX. We've been focused on the big guns, and this has been a fun exercise. I was a little worried that there would be some ho-hum about this particular challenge because, you know, these are the quote-unquote easy ones that we all kind of, you know, memorize on 11.4 WRVA, a 720 WGN, right? We know what's on each of these frequencies. And so I was worried that maybe we might, some of us collectively look at it and be like, well, you know, I'm looking for like rare DX, right? But you guys have been pouring in the DX this week, man. It's been really cool, and it's been actually fun to kind of reacquaint ourselves with these bigger stations. I kind of said last week, it kind of gets us back in touch with how we started DXing, because this is a lot of us how we started our DX journey, was going after these big stations and being amazed at how far we could hear. And this week has definitely presented some different challenges at different times with the conditions. We've seen some good conditions up to the north. We've seen some good conditions down to the south. The west hasn't been super great until maybe this morning, a little opening out west, or last night and this morning. So it's just been kind of a weird week propagation wise. But nice to kind of see so many of you getting in some really good logs here this week on the challenge of these big nighttime 50 kilowatters. So if you don't know what I'm talking about as far as challenge, go up to our website, dxchallenges.com, and make sure you register. That way you can participate, and you'll see our current challenge, our current week, the 50 kilowatt challenge. The goal is to try to hear as many of the 50 kilowatt US stations that broadcast at night, 50 kilowatts, and log those and try to see how many you can get. We are very close. We've got 2 more, and we'll have all of the ones in the lower 48. All the ones in the lower 48 will be done. We've got 2 more left, and then you guys will have heard all 89 stations in the lower 48. We have 93 total, but there's, you know, a couple in Alaska. There's one in Puerto Rico. I'm not really holding anybody accountable for those. So we're looking at the 89 in the lower 48. Once we get to that 89 number, we'll have gotten all of them. We're 2 away from that. Some really good numbers. When I look at the stats this week, let me go back in here and actually pull up our current challenge page, because this is actually pretty cool. And we did some new stuff this week, learning how to do some new calculations in the Google sheet that we use to kind of keep track of the analysis and everything. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'll show it to you here in a minute. I mean, look how evenly matched this is. I mean, from like, you know, John here at 39, 36, 35, 30. That's not that far off, really, from 60, 57. I mean, you can make those up very, very quickly if you have a good night, some good conditions, sit down. A lot of folks can get caught up pretty quick to some of those higher numbers that are up on the upper end. But there's so many people who are in those high numbers, around 50 or over 50, because these are the big gun stations. Most people should be able to hear quite a few of them. Some of the folks out west might have a little bit of a difficulty on the ones this side of the country, or, you know, east of me. Our friend Mexico Mike down in Mexico has a little trouble getting to some of them because everything's far away for him. So he's got a little bit more of a challenge down there, and he's absolutely crushing it. We added this grid in here so we can keep track of kind of how everybody's doing as far as like getting to each station. You know, to kind of see kind of where all the lines kind of fill in. I know some of you you'll ping me on Slack or whatever, and you'll say, "Hey, I've submitted a bunch of logs. I'm not seeing them here." I have to, for this particular challenge this week, the next week, I have to manually update the data to get it to kind of register and show up on all these tables. So don't worry, it'll get done. I just have to kind of do it on a regular basis and go over and check it. So that's why you'll see sometimes some of yours will show up as a 0 on here, or it won't show up yet because I have to do some little finessing to get it done. I tried to use ChatGPT to automate it, but it just wasn't working. But I was very interested to see this one down here. So we typically look at miles, receptions by mile, see who kind of has the furthest one. There's Mexico Mike Jay down there in Mexico with his almost 2,100 miles to New York. So like I said, everything is really, really far for him. But this is one I wanted to kind of see who we have in like the NRC. They have the graveyard logs, right? And the graveyard records to who has like the furthest of each of the different graveyard stations that are out there. So I kind of thought it might be kind of fun to look at that on a basis of these 50 kilowatts for the purposes of our challenge, to see who's got the furthest reception submitted to our logs for each of the 50 kilowatt stations. So you'll see the full list over here of all the 50 kilowatts, and you can search if you want to find, hey, who's got WWL taking care of it? Ain't me. It's Neil up in Ontario with 1,113 miles. You can see KCKN. There's David Pete up there in Maine at 2055. So, you can get the full list here. You can download it or whatever, so we can kind of keep track of that. I'm thinking about putting that into play for our like overall master log of all of the challenges. I'm trying to play around with that a little bit. It's a lot of data, so might be a little difficult. But then I said, okay, well, what's the count? Like who's like crushing it and has like the furthest reception of all these 50 kilowatts? Obviously Mexico Mike J is going to just be the dominant one down there in Mexico where he is. But I mean, look at Stephanie with 15 stations that she has logged. She has the furthest reception of those stations. 10 for Jacob Hammond, 9 for David Pete up in Maine. So a chance to kind of see, okay, how far are these really getting out? And how, for some of these folks like Stephanie out west, how hard is it for her to hear? I mean, she's got WLW this week, WCCO in Minnesota, and several others kind of out this way. So she's doing, a lot of these that are like far, far away for her. And like I said, for Mike, everything is going to be far. So it's just kind of a cool look, I thought, to see for folks who are out maybe a little further away, to see how far we can get some of these stations, and who kind of has the most of the far stuff, right? All right. Let's get ready for a night of DX. We are going to be, again, focusing on the 50 kilowatts because that is our challenge this week. So we're starting with those, and we'll take a look at a couple of frequencies that I'm chasing here. Don't forget to get your shout outs in dxchallenges.com/shoutouts. You can also go to just dxchallenges.com and click on the shout out banner. You don't have to be logged in to submit your shout outs. We want to know what new logs have you heard that are new to you this week, new countries, new states, new stations, new gear, milestones you've achieved, whatever it might be. We'll be getting to those shout outs here a little bit later on in this next hour. We're also going to go back in and finish up some of our conversation on some DX basics for our newbies. This was a great time to do that since we're focusing on 50 kilowatts. We're also going to look at, some of you asked me, I was going to do it last week, we ran out of time, about uploading videos and air checks and things like that to YouTube. So we're going to take a look at that process tonight and some of the things that we do in Bandicam. And yeah, just a whole lot of DX. So let's get to some DX right now. This first DX session is brought to you by the National Radio Club, NRC, National Radio Club .org. NationalRadioClub.org is their website for more information about membership in the NRC and getting yourself either the print or the EDX version. If you do the EDX, you actually get that little extra supplemental version that they have out now, like the EDX in. I think they call it, right? Or D-Extra. D-Extra was what they call it, D-Extra. So you get a little extra something with the stuff they couldn't fit in. And obviously there's a bunch of publications up there, the NRC AM radio log. So definitely go nationalradioclub.org for more information about membership. We're going to start off tonight on our assortment of Kiwi antennas. So right now, all of our antennas are pointing north. Everything is. So we got our Kiwi here, the shortwave central Kiwi, the 330 degree facing elevated CAS, 25 by 72 CAS. It's up and running. That's what we're looking on here. We've got our three CASs here at Shortwave Central Superloop CAS combos. We got the Superloop in the front yard, east-west Superloop, 263 degrees. That's pointing west right now, or kind of southwestish. We've got our 305 degree northwest antenna, which I might, by the time we get to the next hour, I might swap that to the southeast because I'm looking at some of those 50 kilowatts in Florida, like AQI, WYG. I still haven't gotten those yet because I haven't been pointing that way. So I might do that tonight on one of our ad breaks, go out and swap the antenna real fast. We got that, and we've also got our rotating CASs that we put in place. So right now we're on the 35 degree northeast CAS, which has been having some funkiness with the transformer, so we probably won't spend a lot of time there, but we'll probably at least check it out and see what's kind of going on there on the 35 degrees. So let's start off here looking 263 degrees, so pretty much towards Baja California north And let's see what we have going on here. I want to look at, let's check 640. I've heard KFI once this week. It's been a tough go kind of getting them in here, but let's see how the conditions, this will tell me a lot about how conditions look. Finally quiet. We've been battling noise on 640 all week. And one of the things we will be doing tonight, by the way, is demonstrating a technique that I've been using all week on these 50 kilowatts. It's a great technique for DXing in general, but it's really been helpful on these 50 kilowatts where I kind of know what I'm looking for. And, you know, I've heard them so many times. I just want to confirm that, yep, that's them. It's a way to use some of these online Kiwis to help parallel to what I'm hearing on my SDR. We're going to demonstrate that technique a bit later. We've been using it. I know Jacob Ham up in Minnesota uses it quite a bit. It's super helpful. So we'll demonstrate this for you guys here in a bit. Closest reception this week has been Jacob, 4 miles from KSTP. Christos Rodriguez has 2. He's got WSCR and WGN. 5 miles for him from those 2 Chicago stations. Steve Hinman's in there at 8 miles from KOA. $4 miles for Jacob. And you see what he gets. You see the kind of DX this man gets. And he's 4 miles from KSTP and not that far from WCCO. Hey, Walt. This is probably Progresso that we have in here right now. And I don't have the vactrol on this one right now. This is a variable resistor that we have on hand-wound variable resistor right now, so I don't have that to benefit with.
DX Central Live, top of the hour alert.
All right, here we go. Top of the hour time framings. We're looking for IDs. We're listening for IDs from stations. 640 is kind of a bust right now. Let's go switch to the 305 degree antenna and see what we have there. Yeah, KNX is the easiest one here, too. In fact, let's go there and just see if we have a shot at him.
Appears to have been larger than originally reported.
And founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney.
There's one. That was KNTH in Houston at 1033, the answer. Is that KFI there? Or not KFI? KFTI?
Get started with a quick 3-minute survey at trysh.com. Trysh.com. Future Health is not a healthcare services provider. Meds are prescribed at provider's discretion. Results may vary. Sponsored by Future Health. Getting your guaranteed maximum refund with TaxSlayer feels like discovering a refund tree.
ECH will finally be reopened, but you will have
calling off its branches. Feeding them through a wood chipper. And dancing in its refund train. Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Still your goodwill and good time station. 1070 WDIA. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. Free never sounded so good. With the heart and soul of Memphis. 1070 WDIA Memphis.
All right, so no K and X there, but at least we got an ID out of the BDIA, so we confirmed that was them. I think I heard an ID for KFTI there as well a little before them. Let's look now. We're still looking northwest. I haven't heard 1030 TWO yet.
Todo el mundo de antojo.
It's heavy, isn't it? And that's why we're so passionate through faith and
We're going to look.
Find out more at westsidechristianfellowship.org. That's Westside Christian.
Let's look out here in Colorado.
Some of the FBI agents who participated in investigations involving President Trump. America's listening to Fox News.
So they're coming out of Fox News right now at K2.
We were in a car crash. The kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
Excuse me.
He clutched his old ride.
Not hearing them on
$2 million in coverage.
Then Jesus
not hearing them on our DX Central Kiwi. Let's look at the shortwave Central. Pretty sure this is probably KCTA in Corpus Christi.
Once again with evangelist.
They're notoriously bad for staying on past their bedtime.
For all is changed when Jesus.
Hey, Mexico Mike PG. Yeah, I think you're correct on that. If I go back over here.
And yet, I believe I have found the peaceful place in the storm.
And let's go over here to.
Really, if you ever get to where you have been in a lot of storms and God's presence is so precious, you'd rather be in a storm with Him than out of a storm.
There goes KCTA. Now they're gone. They must have heard me talking about them. Yeah, that's probably Radio Centro. We had a request from our friend Earl Higgins, to go check 1060 and see what we were hearing, because we usually have XCCPAE down in Mexico City here in Mandeville. They boom in here. But XERDO has been heard by quite a few DXers recently. They usually are here underneath XCCPAE. I can kind of hear them underneath. But check this out. Let's see if they're coming in.
La invitación para que nos acompañen a ampliar estas otras noticias en punto de las 7 horas.
So we're going to demonstrate our technique here that I use for using online KiwiSDRs in the assistance of trying to identify stations. So let's go up here to 1060 on, we have Mexico Mike J's Kiwi down in Mexico pulled up right here. What I'm going to do here is I want to go to the audio tab here in the Kiwi on his side. And I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit so it's kind of equal. And I might have to adjust a little bit to pull it down and pull it up as I need to. But I want to get it kind of close to the level of the audio of my Kiwi or my receiver that I'm using here locally. And then what I usually want to do at that point is there's a pan button or a pan slider here. Doesn't matter left or right, whichever one you kind of prefer. But I usually kind of go about 48, 49 on the right is what I usually do for the receiver I'm trying to match to. Right, that's kind of close to the DX, and then I'll come over to my Kiwi, and let me actually do this on our West 263 because that might be a little bit better copy of Mexico XERDO here than the north facing one. Then I'll go to my Kiwi. It's also really helpful if you do this in SAS mode. So over here where it says like AM, QAM, SAM, SAL, go to SAS because that's going to give you kind of that stereo separation kind of feel to it. So then I'll come over here and I'll do the same thing, but I'll put mine about 48 to the left. Okay. And what that's going to do now is it's going to give me mine a little bit on the right, but mostly on the left. And then I've got there's mostly on the right, a little bit on the left. What I'm listening here for is echo. And when you hear it, it sticks out like a sore thumb, as I always like to say. And it seems to work pretty well, even with pretty weak signals. Like there have been a couple times this week where I've had a station that was really, really weak in my on air here. And I was matching it up to a signal like on a Kiwi somewhere in northeast or out west or whatever, and I was getting that echo even with just a tiny bit in the on air here in Mandeville. So with that being said, now we got it set up. We may have to adjust our levels for audio here, the volume, but now we got it set up here. Let's go ahead and pull up Mexico mics. He's down in closer towards Mexico City.
Para exponer los problemas.
Okay, and let's do ours.
La convivencia en el barrio, el pueblo o la colonia y las alternativas para solucionarlos. Día con día la ciudad cambia y nosotros con ella. Mejorar.
Put his down just a little bit.
Solo es posible si ejercemos.
So his SDR, there's a little bit of an echo of what he's hearing. A little bit of an echo here locally.
Bienvenidos a
his again. I've got a little bit of the echo from his. And it's underneath the main station I'm hearing on 1060 right now, which is XERDO. So they're the ones with the kind of poppy music. The guy talking is Radio Education, which is what he has on his. Let's go back to it now. If you have headphones on, you're going to hear the echo here. It's such a great way to line these up. Let me do it with one where let's see how it sounds on the Shortwave Central one. What do I have mostly here? See, now even on the Shortwave Central, Kiwi, I've got Radio Education a bit weaker, but there's still great echo there because all you need is something to be able to have that audio coming in to be able to compare to. So here we go again. Let me do this again so you can hear the echo. I'm going to show you a free one here, David, in a second. So there you go. I mean, you can hear the echo. And that echo, once you hear that, then you know that what you're hearing on your side and what they have on their side matches up. So if you're doing, like, let's say when I was looking for Paraguay, okay, this is how I found Paraguay. I had a KiwiSDR in Paraguay on 920 listening to their local station there. I had my SDR on 920 and I thought I had them coming in, and I pulled up both of them and I separated a little bit left and right, panning to get them kind of separated, and I had the echo. And once I had that, I knew that was it. I did that a ton this week. WBZ up in Boston, I did it with them. WFED in Washington, D.C., I did it with them. WRVA in Richmond, Virginia, did it with them. WCCO, did it with them. And KSTP up in Minneapolis, in St. Paul. I did it with KNX. I did it with KFI. So a lot of these stations this week that I was able to log where maybe they're not strong enough for me just to get an out and out, ID, a perfect ID, because they're a little bit buried. Try this technique where you run them up side to side with each other on a Kiwi located where that station that you think you're listening for, where that signal is coming from. Listen to an online Kiwi there. And you can do that. Now, it doesn't have to be like my Kiwi has that pan option. That pan option also exists in other software too. I know there's one in SDR console. There's also, if you go to here at SDR Sharp, because I know a lot of you guys are using SDR Sharp, there is an audio tab that you can go to. It looks like this. It has a pan as well. So you can also do the same kind of panning here, throwing it left and right as well. So you have that option. Jaguar does not have one that I'm aware of. SDR console does. I forget where it's at. I'll have to go and look. Some of the other programs you guys might be using, I can't remember if SDR Connect does or not. I think it does. I'll have to go back and check. But definitely SDR Sharp does, as you just saw. So no matter what SDR you're using, you should be able to have, I think most programs, that are available should have some sort of panning option there for you that you can use to try to throw that on one side or the other, and then throw the online SDR on the opposite side and see if you get that echo. Because once you do, you got it. All right, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about some more. We're going to do your shout outs first. And we'll talk some more about some basics for our 50 kilowatt challenge this week, some things to look for. That technique is part of that. And then we'll also get ready here to do some Bandicam review as well, and how you can use Bandicam or just whatever you're recording from to upload your air checks to YouTube, because I think the more we share, the better the community is served as a whole. So don't go anywhere, my friends. More DX Central Live is coming up right after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log, now in its 45th edition, is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. With a lifetime membership, the International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS-HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
Tuning all night, fingers crossed, just right. Static fills the air, hope fades to despair. You crack the code so clear, caught what I want to hear. Through the noise you smiled, I'm lost for a while. All I hear is in a world of bliss. You found the diamond. I'm stuck in quest divine till the end of time, till the end of time. Hours tick away too soon, craving for that tune. Your joy is bittersweet, my defeat's complete. My radio silence screams, a fading dream, one basking glory bright. I chase signals in the night, riding on waves crest, hoping for the best. In the static sea, one day it'll come to me. All I hear is yes, in a world of bliss.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. Got the antenna swapped. We're looking back southeast now on our 20 by 70 foot CAS. We're looking back down at 125 now, so we're going to go look for Florida here at our next DX session. So got that done. All right, let's get to your shout outs here, because the last couple of weeks I've kind of put them off until the second hour, and I feel bad about that because I want you guys to hear your shout outs. So go to dxchallenges.com/shoutout, and we'll get those in and let you guys celebrate together, as we like to do. We like to celebrate together what we've heard, what we've achieved over the last week. So here we go.
Shout out loud, hear the call for every single big or small, from AM to FM, from C to C. We celebrate the ones who slag the IT. Shout out loud, let it be known, you're never DXing all alone. Through the static we found our way, shout outs making waves today.
All right, let's get to them. dxchallenges.com/shoutouts, where you want to go if you want to submit your own pat on the back celebration. Let's start with John Johnson out in Arizona. John always getting his shout outs in here of what he's out there hearing in Arizona, which is awesome. Love to hear what you guys are hearing out west, because I see a lot of the East Coast stuff, and I'm familiar with the East Coast stuff, but it's always fun to see the West Coast stuff. 2 new loggings this week for John. 1250 KDEI in Port Arthur, Texas, one of the stations we hear pretty regularly. 117th station from Texas for him. And 1510 KIRV in Fresno, California. That's number 185 from California. My goodness. Ran across KIRV trying to find WLAC for the DX Challenge. See? That was one of my hopes this week. It wasn't just about getting to the 50 kilowatts. It was also about sitting on those frequencies and parking there, trying for the 50 kilowatts, but maybe hearing something else. Especially for those of us like, out here out east, we sit on 1510 a lot. When we hear WLAC, we kind of go, oh, well, never mind. And we move on. But if you sit there and park for a bit, you might actually hear something new. And we've found that this week. I actually got some new stuff this week that way. Mesa, Arizona total is now sitting at 897 stations logged. And what was it? Almost 300 of those are from California and Texas. That's awesome. Well done, John. We'll get you a nice log saw in here, my friend. I see Mamacita's in there. Hello, hello, hello. And yeah, David, before you go buy anything on Amazon for those Mexican state, that map, hold tight. I'm going to show you an option that may work for you. I'm not sure how you want to use it, but this may work for you. So these shout outs, and I'll show you one. Our friend Stephanie out in the desert in Southern California with my mega local 1270 KGAY off due to a call letter and format change. I noted the following: KINN in New Mexico at 603 miles, 1,107 miles to KFLC in Benbrook, Texas, KRXQ in Claremore, Oklahoma, 1,177 miles, and KSCB in Liberal, Kansas, 897 miles. So local station goes off the air, 4 new stations are brought in. See, another benefit of just, we get to these frequencies sometimes, we think we know exactly what's there. Look, every once in a while, check our local frequencies. You might have a local off the air. Well, our locals down here on 600 and 800, they go off the air all the time. 1060's been off the air for a couple of years. KGLA on 830 goes off and on all the time. So I'm always checking my local frequencies, just looking to see if maybe one of them is gone. I have a shot. It's pretty easy to do if you have your SDR pulled up with the waterfall. You have a nice big zoom out. You can just look for those big frequencies, where you have a big signal you would expect to see at least, and see if they're there. Also for Stephanie, some new logs as well from the 50 kilowatt challenge. 660 Radio Progreso in Cuba at 2,256 miles. That's her 13th Cuban from Palm Desert, from out in the hacienda in Southern California. 13 Cuban stations. Don't tell me that Cuba can't be heard, Latin America can't be heard from far distances. Now, they do make it easy for us in Cuba, with things like Radio Reloj and big Rebeldi walls and a lot of, very consistent programming across a lot of different frequencies with the same networks, but you can still do it. You can still pull it off. So well done. Also, 700 WLW at 1,800 miles, WCCO at 1,449 miles, 940 XERLA in Santa Rosalia, Baja California Sur. That's on 940. That's one I'll probably never get, thanks to my local here, unless they go off the air. That's Mexico number 70 for Stephanie. And 950 KJR in Seattle at 996 miles. 2 new calls and format change, as well noted. 1270 KFSQ in Thousand Palms, California. Fox Sports 1270 AM with formerly KGAY with a dance music format. Now at a total of 592 stations from the Radio Hacienda. Number 600 is just around the corner. So we've got to do the new Latin American stations that were noted there. And also the new logs for Stephanie as well. Well done, my friend. That's the horn of victory, folks. If you don't like the horn of victory, then you don't enjoy celebrating DX success. The horn of victory is all about celebrating the DX success. So that's why we blow it as often as we do. And it's also partly inspired by the folks at Letterkenny and Ferda, because I love that show. I'm actually rewatching it now again for like the 20th time. My wife is about it. She's okay. Sometimes she'll walk around the house quoting it every once in a while. I'm like, well done. Carl up in Tennessee with a shout out to you as well this evening. 6 new stations this week, none for the challenge, which is cool. Stations on 730 from WFMC in Goldsboro, North Carolina. 1070 WFRF in Tallahassee. Bet you that was while looking for a clear channel station. 790 WQXI in Atlanta. 680 WGES in St. Petersburg. 670 WFE in Miami. La Poderosa. 1200 KYOO. I know that one was looking for WOAI. 1200 KYOO in Bolivar, Minnesota. Or Missouri, sorry. That brings my station totals now to 961 stations. So well done, Carl, my friend. There you go. Outstanding. Let's see how many more we got. Oh, we got quite a few. We can keep going for a little bit here. Love the shout outs. Loving you guys just pour them in. This is awesome. Earl up in Missouri. Some new logs in here. So 4 new logs this week, including some new Latin Americans as well. Number 1224 came in the form of KBDT in Highland Park, Texas on the 27th on 1160. Huge signal with Vietnamese programming. Stands out for sure. 35 minutes before their local sunset. Easily parallel with the Dallas SDR. Looking for WYLL for the contest. So another one of those. Looking for one station for the contest, for the challenge. And got a new one. New Latin American. There we go. XERDO 1060. One of our DXers that noted them this week. With the La Raza Mexico, with the logo over Mexico City. And Cheater WQMV up in Tennessee. Distinctive Tex-Mex music, slogan IDs between every single song. And also was looking for KYW during that time. So there we go. New log number 1226, KBBW 1010 in Waco, Marland. Loud, long-winded sermon by a man. Triple City, Waco, Marland, Killeen. ID into SRN News, and then More Religion while looking for WINS. 1010 wins for the challenge. And 1227 came in the form of KFSA on 950 in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Briefly peaked with end of a country song, seemingly live, ID by a woman. Mentioned Fort Smith into another country song, parallel their web stream while looking for WWJ. So there is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new logs for our friend Earl while looking for 50 kilowatt. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4 new logs. Sorry, 4 new logs this week while looking for 50 kilowatt for the challenge. Came up with 4 new ones as a result. So these clear channel frequencies, these big frequencies where we think we know what we're going to find, they get cheaters every once in a while that stay on past their bedtime. All kinds of stuff can happen. So well done, my friend. We're going to get you this Latin American log. And we're going to saw some logs for you, too, here. All right. Well done, Earl, my friend. Sean Kutsko, KX9X, up in Illinois. Everyone's up from here, unless you're, like, down in Mexico or, something like that. One of our wonderful Mexican mics down south of the border. Everyone else is up for me. Sean Kutsko in Illinois, loving the 50 kilowatt DX challenge this week. 54 logs so far for the challenge under some pretty trying conditions. Yes, sir. Almost nothing westerly open you speak of until this morning. Almost all of my missing 50 kilowatt stations are to the west or northwest now. I even managed a new log from 50 kilowatt WFME 1560 in New York. Woo, that's not easy. They're not rolling out the full package there, so that's well done. Otherwise, flat conditions yielded only 8 new ones this week. I did manage getting CFAM in Altona, Manitoba on 950, 777 miles actually, for the 6th station from Manitoba for Sean. Now sitting at 1,024 unique logs for AM. We're going to saw some logs for our friend Sean this week now. Well done, buddy. The silky-voiced announcer of our advertising here on DX Central Live. David Pete up in Maine had a good week as well. Not a lot of DX, but did get 3 new ones, so that classifies as a good week in my book. 600 WYEL in Puerto Rico for his 8th Puerto Rican station. Well done, man. ACKN in Roswell on 1020 from Maine to New Mexico. That's his 2nd New Mexican station. So well done, man. Anytime you can get New Mexico from Maine, that's and going through KDKA like that on 1020, That's doing well. 1130 WEDI in Eaton, Ohio. Number 900 total from Old Town. And that is Ohio station number 36. So we're going to go ahead and get you the log saw from here as well. All right, so there you go. We got a couple more shout-outs we're going to do in the next hour. You can still send yours in. If you haven't gotten them in, no worries. dxchallenges.com/shoutout. Get yours in, and we will give you the horn of victory and the high five and all the other stuff that we do here to celebrate together. So get those in, dxchallenges.com/shoutout. We got David Harden coming up in Georgia. We got Jeff Immel in Indiana with some new gear, and he's having fun playing around with that new gear, getting some results out of that. So we're going to talk about that in the next hour as well. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll get you in here. Real quick, while I'm thinking about it, David's Radio Room. David, you were talking about getting a map of Mexican states. Now, again, I'm not sure how you're planning on using it, if you want to put something up on the wall with pins or whatever, but if you are so interested and you want to maybe save a little cash, this is a great option. Mapchart.net. I've shown these guys here on the stream before, but mapchart.net, and I'll throw the link here for the URL into the description or the chat here. There we go. Mapchart.net. So you got all kinds of maps here. This is what I use for all of my, I've heard this many states maps, I've heard these states maps, I've heard these propagation modes on FM, all that kind of stuff comes from this website. All free. So go to, in this case, you're looking for Mexico, right? So you got more maps, and you go to Mexico. And by default, it's going to give you all that stuff, and I don't want all that stuff. So what I want to do here, there it is, down here, is I want to show my, this always takes me a second to kind of remember all of the process and the steps here. So we're going to take off those borders. We're going to do show states, and then I want to do show subdivision names. So if I do this here like this, if I show states and I show subdivision names to yes, to toggle that on, you'll get the names of the Mexican states. And then from there, you can just doop, doop, this is what I've heard. These are the Mexican states that I've heard. And if you make a mistake like I just did, haven't heard all these, maybe I want to do it the right way, I can just right click and remove paint. Otherwise, you're clicking on it with the left click to paint it. You can make it whatever color you want to. Down here, you have a little select color. You can do different colors for different things. Like I said, for FM, DX, I do different propagation modes. Like red is E-skip, green is Tropo, things like that. So you can do whatever you need to here. All those different options you want to do, you can do. Now I'm going to go back over here and turn the borders back on because I want my state borders in there. There we go. So that's the key for this particular use case. If you want to see the Mexican states and just the Mexican states, go to states, show, and then go to show subdivision names, and then the rest of it, you leave your border on, whatever you want to do from there. And you can put a legend on here as well. So like I said, like this would be like erratic E, and this is like Tropo. They even have gradients or like hatched kind of things you can do down here, different kinds of things. So like this one would be like Tropo and E, or whatever you want to make it, right? So you have all kinds of options you can do in here and customizing it. There's a bunch of maps in here. Oh, by the way, before I get any further, I've shown this before, but I want to remind, whenever you do, you get your map where you want it. And I would definitely recommend putting something here in the title, like Medium Wave DX Mexican States Heard, hit this button right here to save the configuration, hit that button, and then save your configuration. Because what that's going to do is, if you don't do this, every time you come in here, you're going to have to build the map all over again. But if you download the configuration and you save that in a handy dandy spot, you can then come back in here and load it by choosing a file like this one. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say, here's my Mexican states that I've heard here. Load that configuration. So this is what I've heard. I actually have to undo Oaxaca now because I haven't heard them yet. So there you go. So this is all the Mexican states that I have heard here from Mandeville on AM. So I'm going to save that. Now I've made a change. I'm going to save it, save my configuration. By putting in the little title right here, it makes it easier for me to see the file name and which one it is. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of, they're all the same. And it's like, oh crap, which one's which? Which one's AM, which one's FM? You can also then download the map, and that will download the copy that you would then have that looks kind of like that. So there you go. So that's how you do that. And then you've got up here at the top, you can do states, you can do US and Canada. So if you want to do like your herd states and provinces, you can do that here, like so. You've got under the Americas here, you've got countries. So this is like all the North and South America and Caribbean Sea countries. There's also another one in here under the more section that is just the Caribbean. I forget where it is in here. I was in here. Am I looking past it here? There was one in here for the Caribbean though. I know that. They have a county map in here too if you're hunting counties, like I know a lot of folks like to do. I don't remember where that was. There was one for just the Caribbean because it gave me a chance to do like a zoomed in. Ah, here it is down here, miscellaneous, the Caribbean. There we go. So this is just the Caribbean nations. There we go. That's it. There's also, for those of you who are fans of like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings, I think was on here at one time. They had a Lord of the Rings map as well for Middle Earth and all kind of stuff. So they have these different kinds of maps in here as well. So just fun stuff. But mapchart.net, super, super cool, super, super free, easy to work with, and you can do really, really awesome customized maps for yourself. All right. So that's my little recommendation for that. We're gonna again talk about a little bit later on about uploading air checks to YouTube, but I did want to take a second here real quick to finish up our conversation about kind of getting started in DX. We talked last week about things like we talked about propagation, the difference between ground wave and sky wave, and what happens when that D layer breaks down and you get AM signals that are able to travel higher in the ionosphere and bounce off the F layer. We talked a bit about, using the top of the hour, bottom of the hour, quarter hours to listen for IDs and what to listen for with like traffic updates, weather updates, local ads, IDs, things like that. So let me go in here and I'm up on my website, dxcentralonline.com, and we're under the DX 101 area, and then we're under AM DXing and the basics of AM DXing. So a couple things that just as a way to kind of get you started. One thing you're going to want to probably do if you're getting started with AM DXing or FM or whatever kind of DXing is notate what you're hearing. You may not think it's a big deal, and maybe, if you're just kind of casually checking stuff out, you may not want to keep a record. That's totally cool, but you're going to probably at some point want to be able to go back in and say, have I heard that station before? And that's where you have a logbook that comes into play. We have an example logbook here that you can download for free if you would like. It's an Excel spreadsheet format, and so you can use that as kind of a starter for yourself. You can also use things like Google Sheets. You can use a piece of paper, a notebook, whatever. I've done all of those things, right? But just some way to kind of notate the things you're hearing and some things that are important to hear. And this will help you to be able to learn more about your DX if you do this. So that's why I strongly encourage the date and time that you heard the station. That tells you about propagation, that teaches you about propagation, because you start to learn, okay, what times of the year am I hearing certain things? What times of the day am I hearing certain things? Writing down the actual, obviously the station itself that you heard, the call letters, the city, the state, the country, things like that. So writing down that information is important. That way you kind of know who you've heard. If you're not one of those folks, like there's a lot of us here, these kind of hardcore DXers, we chase states and countries. So I can tell you how many stations I've heard from this state, how many stations I've heard in this country, how many stations I've heard on this frequency. I can tell you all the stats. I've got a full online logbook with all the analysis we put together. You may not be that. That's totally fine. If you decide later on you want to do it, it's nice to have all that handy. I'll tell you that, because I have had those before where I'm like, man, I didn't keep very meticulous records back in the day about like what radio I was using or what antenna I was using. So it becomes kind of difficult to kind of go back when I was doing like my logs from Brasstown, North Carolina, and I was entering all those into a spreadsheet. And I was like, man, I don't know what radio. I'm just going to guess here. I was probably using this radio. And I think this was the antenna I was using probably at that time. So you're going to, more than likely at some point, you're going to want to know some of this information. So, it's good to go ahead and document all this while you can. So date and time of when you heard them, the station information, call letters, city, state, or slogan if they don't have call letters, like, Radio Progresso, Radio Rebellion if they don't have call letters, city, state, or province or whatever, and country. And then what you heard, some programming notes are important to have as well. So I heard a top of the hour legal ID with call letters and city, mention of their FM on 103.3, and then into Fox News. Things like that, like just notating kind of the stuff that you heard, because that's, what happens if let's say that you were on 1070 and you heard a station IDing with 103.3, and then I think it was on 1030 we were sitting on where KNTH was, or maybe on 1070. It was 1070, yeah. So I heard a station mention 103.3, the answer, and then they went to SRN News or whatever it was. If I'm sitting on 1070 a year from now or 2 years from now, and I'm like, I've heard something, I can go back and look at all my 1070 logs, and I'm like, oh yeah, 103.3, that was KNTH in Houston. There it is. It's there. I don't have to go looking anywhere else. It's in my logbook already. So the more detail you provide yourself in your logbook, the more you're going to help yourself when you're going back later on in DXing to know exactly who you heard. But if you just put in their ID and music, okay, that's fine, but doesn't really help you know what it was you heard for down the line. I run into this all the time when I'm doing FMDX, all the time. I notate the RDS code that's downloaded. I notate what kind of information I heard, what kind of programming they were carrying, what their slogan was, all those kinds of things. Knowing that formats and slogans and call letters and stuff can change, I know that. That's one way you can actually find out pretty quick, is if you look and say they were saying 103.3, the answer, but now they're calling themselves 1070 the hog, whatever. You can spot that pretty easily, if you've notated before what you heard. Those kinds of notes will really help you be able to further your DX down the line. So a logbook is a fantastic way, and I'll put this link in here into the chat. Here you go. So if you are looking for like a sample Excel version of a logbook, or a spreadsheet you can use to get you started, that's a great way to do it. We have one right here for you. It's got the basics in there. You can go as extravagant as you want to. I've been using ChatGPT to do a bunch of Google Sheet formulas for me lately, so I'm doing analysis that I always wanted to do, but I never knew how to do, but I'm over there going, okay, ChatGPT, how do I find this, this, and this, and this? And I'm looking at this column, I want to do this, and then it spits it out for me. It's awesome. We talked about what to listen for with like IDs and weather and local ads and things along those lines. We also talk here on the website about things like what to listen for in those. So like local phone numbers, what to be careful with the slogans. And this is a piece of advice that I'll give you guys. I've talked about it before on the stream, but another thing that's really, really common that I see is I'll see a DXer who will be saying, I'm sitting on 790 right now and I hear a station playing the Beatles' Long and Winding Road. And so they'll go and they'll kind of narrow it down to what station they think it is, and they'll go pull up the web stream for that station, and there's the Beatles' Long and Winding Road, right? And so like, oh, that's him, bing, done. Maybe. You have to be very careful of that, especially in the States. Not as much, it's a little less of a problem outside of the States. But in the States, you have to be super careful about that, because the reason is a lot of stations, especially now, especially overnight, run syndicated programming. We used to, I don't know if they still do it through satellite, but we used to do it through satellite back in the day. We had ABC and their adult contemporary kind of dentist office music, never gonna give you up, that kind of stuff, right? Celine Dion all the freaking time. So we had that kind of stuff coming in. We were piping in from a satellite. We signed up for ABC News at the top of the hour, and we had ABC's AC adult contemporary listen to work programming. And so we had several other stations in our group that carried the exact same programming. Now, they were on different frequencies, but there is nothing to say that you wouldn't have two different stations on the same frequency a reasonable amount of distance apart from each other, because they're not going to let you have like two stations in the same market on the same frequency, or the same kind of general area on the same frequency running the same programming. They typically try to steer away from that a little bit, but you could have like a station in Michigan and a station in Alabama both running the same kind of syndicated programming at the exact same time, because they're being fed in through, an ISDN or an Ethernet line, or, a net line or a satellite or whatever it might be coming in. And so you could have that piped in content coming in, and it's the exact same on both stations. And so you think, oh yeah, I got them. Maybe you don't. Could be the Alabama station, not the Michigan station, or vice versa. It could be the Michigan station. Could be. That's why you want to listen for other things. That kind of stuff can help you narrow it down, but there are other things that are, help you kind of confirm, okay, this is who I got. The exception to that is, you have a lot of these stations down in Latin America that they're more hyper localized than we are here in the States. They run a little more unique programming that's more unique to them. There are definitely like Colombia and Cuba that run networks and nationwide networks, but even those are kind of easy to spot. But some of their, smaller stations are very hyper localized. And so when you hear like, a big trumpet flare from a station down in Puerto Rico, probably who you got, right? It's a pretty, that's a little more unique than hearing the same station, like a, country station, here in the States. You hear 3 different stations on that same frequency carrying that same station, that same song, right? The same programming. So just a note there, a word of caution. When you do the rule of thumb I always try to use is I try to have 3 pieces of information. Ideally, I try to have 3 pieces of information that help me confirm that's who I've heard. It could be any mix of those different things that are out there, like a local ad, a slogan, format, matching up with the stream, local ads, in FMDX and RDS decode is nice to have, things like that. I try to have at least 3 things that match up and can help me confirm that's who I got. If I have that, then I have no problem putting that station in my log. That's my rule of thumb. Back in the day, our rule of thumb was you get an ID. And some people still subscribe to that, and that's fine. You're never going to hear me talk bad about somebody who holds to the idea that you have to have an ID to put it in the logbook. I'm totally fine with that. That makes total sense. It's how we used to do it. We had to hear it because we didn't have any other tools we could really use like we do now. So you had to have that ID. And so that's fine. I feel like I am one of those folks who have adjusted to using the tools that are available to me now. So I don't necessarily have to hear, I want that ID because I want to put it up on the YouTube channel and say, listen to that. He just said, ZBVI. I want that ID. Okay. But if all I've got is God Save the King right there at their sign off, I'll take it. If that's the only thing I hear, I'll take it. Okay. Because sometimes we have to do what we have to do with what we've got available to us, because if you want that log, sometimes we have to play a little detective work and kind of figure it out. It's not so cut and dry. So those are some little tips for IDing. We talk in here a bit about transatlantic and transoceanic DX in here as well. We talk a bit about what to do once you've got that station in the logbook. Used to, back in the day, we would type up these reception reports and we'd say, okay, at 9:58 I heard a local weather break, and then that went into an ad for Smokey's Barbecue on the River Park Highway with this telephone number, and then at 9:59 you did this, and then at 10 o'clock you did an ID that mentioned News Radio 570 WWNC Asheville, and then into Fox News, right? We would literally type up a report of reception of all the details of what we heard at that time and date that we heard you. And we would send that, we'd print it out, we'd send it in the mail to a radio station. And we would send it to like the chief engineer or the program director or, whoever might be able to check that for us. And they would check and say, yep, that's us. And they would send us back, hopefully, they would send us back either a card that they had already and kind of in stock. A lot of the bigger stations would have prepared cards they would have internally. If they didn't, a good rule of thumb was to have your own card that had all the details filled out, and all they have to do is just sign it. So we used to do that. And so these were called QSL cards. So we would get these QSLs back to say, yep, that's who I heard. I got KNX, I got KDKA, whatever. Got a whole notebook sitting up here of them. That's not really done that much anymore. You see some people still doing it via email. It's definitely not something people are doing via snail mail anymore. Mostly via email. I have kind of transitioned out of the QSL phase because I just don't see a lot of success doing that. I am more the other way you can verify that you heard a station is by having a recording of them. So that's where the air check comes into play. I get that snippet of what I heard. I record a screen grab of it on my SDR or audio grab or whatever. And then I have that. And then I can either keep that just for my own prosperity or, for reviewing it later on, or I can upload it to like YouTube or a shared cloud-based storage system that I can share out with folks or whatever. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next hour, is how we actually do that process, how we actually record that and then upload that to YouTube for having air check. Another thing that I highly recommend, especially if you're newer, is to join one of the communities out there, the clubs. We talk about them here on DX Central Live. There are sponsors, the National Radio Club, the International Radio Club of America. They are fantastic organizations. You're going to learn a lot about DXing, about what stations are being heard, what you can expect to hear. You're going to learn so much. I can't tell you how much of my formative years of DXing on AM was shaped by reading the logs and the content from the National Radio Club, right? IRCA as well, reading those bulletins that would come out. And I would sit there and look at everyone's loggings. And I'd say, okay, oh, wow, so-and-so in Tennessee heard that station. I've got a shot because I'm in, this part of North Carolina. I'm going to go chase them. So I go that night. I have my little list of all the stations that I wanted to go chase that I saw in the club bulletin that week. And I'd say, okay, here, let's go look for them, right? That was how I kind of created a target list back in the day. I would always look at the international stuff and seeing what people were hearing international. I was just on a constant rotation of looking for this station, looking for that station, looking for this station. I'd read the musings about what people were doing and how they were doing antenna projects and stuff like that. And I'd go, wow, that's above my head. I can't do that. Only to find out you can, right? You can definitely do that. We'll talk more about that in another episode. But definitely join one of the communities, nationalradioclub.org, International Radio Club of America here in the U.S. Those are the two big ones. They have a lot of publications you can use to learn more about DXing and antennas and theory and all kinds of stuff. They also have their publications that come out on a regular basis with logs and more call letter changes, station format changes, things like that. So you can learn a ton about the vocabulary, the terms, the abbreviations that we use here in this hobby, things like that. So definitely, I highly recommend getting yourself, if you're not already, getting yourself membership in one or both of the clubs. Both they're cheap. Okay, they're super cheap. Get yourself a membership in the clubs, and you will not be sorry, because they are fantastic resources for learning about DX, interacting with fellow DXers, like-minded individuals just like you who are curious about how radio signals bounce off the ionosphere into a piece of wire or metal that you have up in the air or on your desktop or in radio, and allow you to hear it from hundreds, thousands of miles away, right? They share the exact same fascination that we all do. So definitely recommend that. All right, let's get ready for some live DX. This DX session, by the way, is brought to you by the International Radio Club of America, IRCAonline.org. Our good friends over there, who have just announced a change, actually. They just announced a change in their structure on membership. So it had been a $10 lifetime, right? They are now going back to yearly $10 dues. So keep that in mind. But still, $10 a year, and all that you get from that, all the publication, all the information, all the intel that you get, it's definitely worth it. $10, and you get that thing in your email, and man, I read it every time it comes in. I'm like, man, look at all those things people are logging. I want to go after that. So definitely make sure you keep that in mind. If you are an IRCA member or thinking about it, instead of a $10 lifetime, it's now $10 a year, starting with this coming year, or this year. All right, let's take a look around here and do some DX. We are looking for 50 kilowatters still. We're looking for the big guns. So if you guys have one you want us to try out, let us know. I'm going to go sit on some of these frequencies now that we have been looking for the Florida stations. 710 to be AQI and 740 to be YGM, because I now have my antenna pointing down towards Florida. So let's go take a look at those, starting with 710. And let's go now. We are about 4 minutes, about 5 minutes, 3 minutes away from top of the hour, so we got plenty of time in here.
Y la actividad compartida frente a los cuadros de iglesia para el 5 de julio frente a Puebla a las 5 de la tarde y a las 7 el sábado. Es una de las firmas de la universidad. En la Liga MX femenina ya las partidas
On the commercial side, Intel's business, the fleet of roofing solutions consists of thousands of dollars.
Talking about logbooks, if you guys are so inclined and want to see what my online logbook looks like on a Google site using Google Forms, Google Sheets, and a Google site, I just dropped that in the chat.
663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
Get ready for a taste adventure. This Friday, visit SeizeTheDeal.com and snag an amazing offer from the Library on Fern. Grab a $50 certificate for just $25. Indulge in delectable dishes and a charming ambiance for lunch or dinner. The Library on Fern is the ultimate.
We're also going to sit on 740 here.
Of course.
Let's go to 710, though.
$50 certificate for just $25. Visit SeizeTheDeal.com Friday and secure yours before they're gone.
I don't believe this is AQI.
Built to practice on representing real people with
There's
real
Radio Mombi on 710. That's not them.
To schedule a free consultation, visit morrisdewitt.com. Paid non-lawyer spokesperson Shreveport, Trey Morris, LA 2417189. Results may vary.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry
Yeah, Jerry mentions on FMDX you can screenshot the RDS screen. I have a bunch of screen grabs that I've done this last couple of years of RDS. I still like to get the air checks. I still like to get those. I like that ID, man. I'm addicted to chasing after that ID. Those top of the hour IDs.
low GA progression.
Let's go to 740.
I ran on the basis of integrity.
Yeah. WYGM is who we're looking for here on 740.
We all just get along. We can get more done. All this got me thinking wigs flying and all of it, and the calling of the pitch and all that. It got me thinking, the wigs can't fly unless you buy a wig. And it got me to thinking, remember when Shirley Kulicker called a wig shop? Hello, how you doing, honey? I'm calling to ask you about the wigs you got down there. Do you make any wigs out of the 2.2-pound polyester fiber that is humidity and fireproof? What kind of wig y'all have down there that's on sale, honey?
Synthetic and human hair.
It's a humidity wig.
Human hair, synthetic.
Oh, it's synthetic human hair. And do that stay right looking? I mean, do it mess up on your head or do it shrink up when it rains anything? My hair is just so raggedy. I hate to go to a wig, a stronger wig, but look like I'm going to have to.
See, you come see.
I come see.
What is going on here?
Give a discount for ignorance?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you, darling.
Bye.
Bye, honey.
And that is the story of when Shirley Kulicker called the wig shop. She had a wig hunt.
My dusticity be ruined. I live in one of these old houses and everything just spray old dust and cobwebs and things all over the house. What I'm supposed to do? Girl, where you learn that word? Call Oops Steam Cleaning. They'll clean out your ducts.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Great moments in DX Central Live history, for sure.
Now through March 4th, get fast, reliable Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 1 year with no annual contract and Wi-Fi equipment included when you have unlimited mobile life. And ask how to get an eligible free 5G phone with trade-in. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Requires credible split on a post-short bank account. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced mobile speed depth use and monthly data included with your data options. Data thresholds and actual internet speeds vary.
Tell people, whether woman or even a man, get the right gun for your self-defense. Store it safely. Stay in practice with your gun so that when you need it most, you're comfortable with it for years.
I'm still guessing this is KTRH.
It is your one-stop shop for all things guns and shooting. You can buy, sell, trade, you name it. Accessories, they got it. The largest rental fleet in Texas. Go shoot at Top
Yeah, that's KTRH.
Trust him well, though. Love, actually.
Somebody's playing some soft cell in there.
Trust & Will makes creating your will easy. Like while you're lounging on the couch. Trust & Will is designed by attorneys, but customized by you, and all documents are safe.
Zoomer, maybe? Is Zoomer playing soft sell right now?
TrustandWill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 10% off. That's TrustandWill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust & Will is an online estate planning service. Visit TrustandWill.com for details.
Identity Theft Awareness Week is here. There's a victim of identity theft every 3 seconds. 3 seconds.
Now Chris Isaac.
Hundreds of millions of data points a second, and we'll
I'm gonna guess that's probably Zoomer.
Or your money back. Plus, plans include the $1 million protection package with up to $3 million.
Let's go back to check 710 now.
This is a Fox News alert, a small plane crash in Philadelphia. I'm Lisa Lacera. It happened about 6:30 p.m. The Learjet went down near a shopping mall. The plane's owner, Jet Rescue, which provides air ambulance services, says there were 4 crew members and 2 passengers, a pediatric patient and an escort on board.
As of right now, we have no reports on the number of fatalities. So right now, we're just asking for prayers.
Mayor Sherelle Parker.
These flames are so big that they're lighting up the scene. That's why most of the scene, the house is on fire, and I can see the firefighters up on the roof. Boy, they're doing a great job. There's hundreds of firefighters here. The gas workers staying behind, and I guess they must realize that this gas starting off, even though it's ignited, must be no danger of an accident.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
I think they would
Break the game.
There's so many people standing on smaller fire as I'm looking down Common Avenue, which probably is the remnants of whatever that truck or SUV was that was fire.
Fox News reporter Steve Keeley. This is THB as it's found the black boxes of both the commuter jet and the Black Hawk helicopter involved in Wednesday's deadly crash near Reagan National Airport outside Washington. As for the wreckage of the crash,
large chunks that will be easily recoverable and will aid in the investigation.
Todd Inman of the National Transportation Safety Board told reporters cranes are on the way to lift the boats out of the water, but...
All right, let's take a gander here and see if we can find a live stream down in Miami that's got 710 nicely in there. So we can try to see if we're getting any echo at all from them. Well, that's not going to help. There used to be a couple of good Kiwis down here in Miami, but they've been really hard to find lately. There we go. So we're going to use our technique here. We're going to turn the volume up a little bit, throw it to the right.
En alrededores del aeropuerto Ronald Reagan. 2 aviones abortaron aterrizajes en el aeropuerto debido a que helicópteros estaban presentes en la trayectoria.
So now I'm going to mute Miami Kiwi here for a second.
How'd you do exactly? She's been tougher, so hang on. Take the quiz every weekday.
So I want to see if there's any chance that I'm hearing that station here. Do I think I'm hearing any of that in my 710?
Promises made, promises kept. We're going to keep our promises.
Stick with our Fox News rundown as history is made during his first 100 days. Whether it impacts your family, your wallet, or
I don't think so.
Journalists will give you the sharp analysis and perspective you expect from Fox News. Fox News Rundown, the first 100 days. Listen and follow now at foxnewsrundown.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
I don't think I'm getting them in there.
Incluidos 4 miembros de la tripulación estaban
including an American, in exchange for a Palestinian prisoner among the trading
del Sikorsky UH-60 Black Hawk del ejército que venía de Fort Belvoir en Virginia. La tragedia ha generado preocupación por los frecuentes vuelos de entrenamiento militar alrededor del aeropuerto nacional Reagan, incluido un carril para helicópteros que se cruza con la trayectoria del vuelo de las aeronaves en la aproximación sureste de la pista 33, donde
I don't think I got him in there.
Returned, including Itai Fan, Omer Nutra, Judith Weinstein, and Gadi Hagai. In a statement, Hamas said Ofer Calderon and Yarden Vivas will be released as well. Hamas claims Vivas' wife and their 2 little redheaded sons were killed. Israel says that has not been confirmed. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
A former Republican congressman.
Was that Rebeldi?
In Michigan. Former Republican.
I've never heard that before on 1180.
by just a third of a percentage point, and now says he's considering a run for Senator Gary Peters' seat, as Peters announced he won't run for re-election in 2026.
Cuando estás volando por el cotejo con el Blackhawk puede ser más difícil de lo que se cree. Después de haber volado de noche y estar intentando observar el tráfico, creo que la mayoría de la gente diría que tan difícil es todo el avión de pasajeros. Deberían poder verlo, pero es mucho más difícil de lo que la gente espera. Pero según el experto, dice que en un entorno urbano como Washington, D.C. o en el norte de Virginia, los pilotos pueden no ser capaces de ver.
Hold up. I think I need to... I forgot I'd swapped my northwest antenna, so I wasn't looking southeast before. Now we are. I had moved it to a different radio, a different input. I was wondering why my vactrol wasn't doing anything. I was like, why am I not getting any nulling here?
4 out of 5 employers.
That means this is probably still this one.
So I could
Sleep Aid brand has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in great night's sleep for the best you can.
I'm awake.
Okay, now I got it sorted. So the 263 now is a 305. Okay.
And ZQuil.com. Use this directed and keep out of reach of children.
Mike and McCarthy, weekday morning.
I still don't have the AQI in there. Let's go back to 740 and see if we have YGM now. I've heard Miami here before, but it's been a while.
For years, and you know how that goes. Like, for instance, the Fab Five.
A Web 888.
Win a championship. They didn't even win a.
Really?
If you go back, and they got 30 for 30s made out of for them.
Yeah, but
if you go back
and win though.
Okay, so they have a Kiwi up, a version 2 Kiwi, but when that's full, then they come over here to their new Web 888, which is a knockoff Kiwi. Okay. Here's 740.
But they're so celebrated. You know that. They're
There's the echo. Listen.
I don't.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, I think
Get a sense of what these guys sound like.
I get what you're saying based off he underachieved. Fans are going to remember they got the.
And now, let me put mine back in play in 3, 2. Well, they did a easily identifiable thing last time.
The 4 Final Four runs.
Whoa, they did that, and I heard the late echo. Come on, give me a little bit of that echo. You hear it now? Hear that echo? So that's WYGM. We can now add WYGM for our logs this week. Nice. Success. All right, let's take a quick break. And when we do come back, we're going to be bringing you some more DX. We're going to talk about uploading the Bandicam. uploading to YouTube using Bandicam or other bits of whatever screen grab software you might be using. But the process is, basically the same thing. I'll show you the Bandicam process because it's easy, and then how to upload that into YouTube because I've got some air checks. I got tons of air checks to use as a demonstration on that. And then we'll do some more of your shout outs and, of course, more DX. So don't go anywhere, my friends. More DX Central Live is heading your way right after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com. For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log, now in its 45th edition, is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. With a lifetime membership, the International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
This man told me to tell you to watch DX Central Live with Lloyd Van Horn every Friday night. Is my Diet Coke in there?
Voices fall, they're everywhere. Tuning in.
from the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in beautiful Mandeville, Louisiana, where we are heading for like nice 70 degrees, 72, 74 this weekend. There's going to be one day next week it's like 80 degrees. I love it. I love it. I'm not one of those guys that enjoyed like that snow and the cold and all that we had last week. No. Give me this. This is what I'm talking about. Not only is it good for the weather, but you know what it also means when we have these nice warm days like this, and a little bit of humidity starts coming in, Tropo starts gearing up. Man, February, I saw a long-range forecast for this coming month here in February, and through at least the first several weeks, we're going to be looking at temperatures in the 70s and 80s here along the Gulf Coast, which means the Tropo machine might get up and running. I saw we had some Tropo here last night, actually. Our friends Boot Crew North, but Arkansas, we're doing some Tropo DXing in two parts of Texas and northern Louisiana last night. So the Tropo season, we didn't get much of nothing last night, or last year rather. Hardly nothing last year. We had a couple nice openings, but not to the level that we typically see down here, that we're famous for here along the Gulf Coast. So I'm hoping this year we'll get a little bit more. So we'll actually look at the Tropo forecast here in a bit if you guys want to. Did I get any? No, the autologger didn't pick up anything. Okay. All right, that's fine. All right, let's talk a bit about... actually, before we do that, let me do some shout-outs. We only got a couple more left here on the queue here for the shout-outs. So let me go ahead and read those off here for you guys, and then we'll get back into our next conversation. Ready?
Shout out loud, hear the call for every single big or small, from AM to FM, from C to C. We celebrate the ones who slag the IT. Shout out loud, let it be known, you're never DXing all alone. Through the static we found our way. Shout outs making waves today.
All right, a couple shout outs here to get to, and then we'll do our DX that we have this week, which wasn't very much, but we had a little bit. But like I said, the day job's been kind of keeping me away from the radio. David Hardin, Georgia, though, starts us off this hour here with some shout outs. You can get yours in again, by the way, dxchallenges.com/shoutout. dxchallenges.com/shoutout. You don't have to be registered to do a shout out, but I think it's a good idea to register because then you can take part in the fun that we're doing with these challenges. All right, David here. 4 stations this week. First, had a goal to DX a station on 1300, right? Finally, logged WNQM in Nashville. The signal came up just long enough to get a positive ID. Very nice. Also logged 560 WVOC in Columbia, South Carolina, 580 WACQ in Tuskegee, Alabama, and 590 WVLK in Lexington. I keep plugging away, he says. That's a fantastic... Hey, first off, let's get you the shout out. That's you also bring up a fantastic a way for newer DXers or people who are trying to kind of flesh their logbook out a bit. Do an analysis once you've kind of got a nice, 200, 300, 400 stations under your logbook. Just kind of getting the basics in there, all the 50 kilowatts, all the stuff you're typically able to hear on a given night, things like that. You got a couple hundred in there. Do an analysis to see what frequencies have you log stations on. Some of you know I do I set a goal every year. I set a series of goals every year before the DX season starts. I'll usually start doing this in August because I start my DX season September 1 and I roll through August 31st. That's a DX season for me. So I'll start planning it out, and then in August I'll set my goals. And historically it was something like I want to, you start off with something basic, like I want to log at least one station on every frequency. Right? So that's a great goal to have. If you do that, I mean, that's 100 and something stations right there, right? Just from doing that, you've added at least, if you have nothing more than one on every frequency, you have well over 100 stations right there. But you're going to find that, as you sit on these frequencies, you're going to get more than one in most cases. So it kind of helps you flush it out. So then it's okay. Let me get to 2 on every frequency. Then it's let me get to 3 on every frequency. My goal last year was to get to 5 on every frequency, and I'm now at that. Because last year the only frequency I had left was 870 where WWL sits, and I was at 4, and this year I got the 5th one. So I'm now at 5 at minimum on every frequency outside of the expanded band. Because some of those, like 1680, I've got 3 stations there on 1680, and that's probably all I'm going to ever get, more than likely, but whatever. So anyway, so yeah, you can use that as a barometer of, okay, where do I have gaps? And then, you can branch that out. Like this year, my goal is I want to have a log on every frequency for sunset, because there was like 10 frequencies where I didn't have a log in my logbook on sunset. So this season I'm trying to go through those 10 frequencies and add every single one of them to my logbook with a sunset recorded log. And I'm also doing the same thing on sunrise. I'm picking out, I think there was a bunch, there's like 40 something frequencies that didn't have a sunrise log, but I'm going to pull in 10 of those and try to get a log on at least 10 of those. Another easy one I'm doing this year is try to have, after you've been doing it for a couple of years, one of my goals this year is to try to have every frequency. I want to have a log in either this season or last year. Anything where it's older than that, I'm going to spend some time on those frequencies. Like this year, I'm down to 3 frequencies left, 590, 650, and 660, where I don't have a log either last season or this season on them. They're all older logs from like 2021, 22. So I'm sitting on 590, 650, and 660 trying to get those 3 frequencies knocked out so I have a current log on there. And now I feel like I'm caught up and I've spent some adequate time on those frequencies. So those are the kinds of things that you can do to flush your logbook out. So what David has done here by saying, you know what, let me go find a station on 1300. He set a little mini goal for himself, right? I want to get a station on 1300. I've recognized that I don't have a station there. I want to get that. So now I'm going to go get it, and he gets a log in it. Goal is met. Station in the log, get your totals up, right? So that's how you can start really whittling this stuff down, is by spending time on these frequencies. What we do in our frequency challenges, when we do those frequency ranges, that can help because you're sitting on those frequencies purposely doing that. But definitely as you kind of go through the rest of the season and getting ready for the next season, kind of think about that. What frequencies, where do I have my logs at? That's where a spreadsheet logbook can be really helpful, because if you watch one of our videos we did on like pivot tables and things like that and spreadsheets on how to do logbook analysis, you can do it pretty quick. You can say, okay, on these frequencies I've got 9, on these over here I've got 2, on these I got nothing. I'm missing a bunch of frequencies. So you can identify those really quick, spend some time on those, and it helps fill in the gaps on your logbook. So my friend David, we're going to give you the log saw here. For your systematic approach. Well done, my friend. Next on our shout out list is Notorious BOG. Jeff got some new gear this week. He has himself the AFEB 22X dual channel SDR. Arrived from Israel 2 days ago. I installed it on my network and I paired it with Linrad. So hey, that's right? Got some new gear. And also some new gear. He said he got a cool coffee mug arriving next week. This mug was designed by Jacob Hammond, and you can purchase a copy here. And I'll drop this link here in the chat so you guys can take advantage. I'll pull that in here. Here is the link he's talking about, and it's got like a waterfall, SDR waterfall. And I think, if I remember right, is this the one, Jacob and Jeff, where it fills in when you get like warm liquid in there, like a cup of coffee, it fills it in, and then as you go, it kind of disappears down. I think it's temperature sensitive, if I remember right. By the way, he didn't put it in his shout out, but I'll do it for him here. Jeff did get some new stuff already on that new SDR of his. I'll read you something. This is from the Slack channel. Came in from the Slack. 810 ZNS3 in Freeport, Bahamas. Now, this is a relog, but here's what's cool about it. WSYW is a local pest on 810 for Jeff, because I've been sitting and testing and practicing the diversity reception phasing on my local pest using the AFEB 22X SDR in Linrad. I recorded the spectrum this morning at 1100 UTC and have been reviewing the recording for the last hour. Linrad software placed WSYW on the right audio channel and anything under it on the left audio channel. That sounds pretty cool. Check out this audio clip. The first 8 seconds is WSYW, and then I turn down the right channel, and there sits ZNS3. He says, I'm selling my DXE NCC2 phaser. So here's the diversity mode here for the Bahamas. Again, the first 8 seconds you're going to hear is his local, then he turns down the right channel, and Bahamas is what's left. Check it out.
We are broadcasting live from the 3rd floor of the Harold Bugatti building, located on Wall Drive, Freeport, Grand Bahama, Bahamas. We are transmitting at a power of 10,000 watts. Radio 810 AM is a part of the ZNS network and operated by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Wow. 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 And wow. That's pretty cool. So there you go. Wow. And by the way, did you notice that was 1100 UTC? And I've told you guys the last couple of weeks how good that time is for Latin America. And I know Bahamas is not Latin America, but it's, you know, it's down south, right? It's Caribbean, Latin America. I'm lumping all that in together. 1100 UTC is a fantastic time to look down south. And there's a good example of it because you heard that ID at 1100 UTC. How great was that? All right. So well done, my friend. We're going to get you, we're going to saw some logs here for you for that new log. And we're also going to get you the gear. Got some new gear in here. And there we go. All right. Well done, my friend. New gear and some new logs in there as well. Don't forget, you can get your logs in, your shout-outs in dxchallenges.com/shoutout. And we will read those out over there. If we don't get to them tonight, if you don't get them in time, no worries. We'll do it next week. We'll be here. Again, this week, we didn't have time for a lot of DX. But we did do a couple of new things. Let's see. What do we have? We got 3 new ones this week, all because of the 50 kilowatt challenge. 1090 WKFI in Wilmington, Ohio, was looking for WBAL, but got WKFI instead, which was a nice consolation prize. It's already had to be, well, actually, I don't have WBAL, actually. WWKB in Buffalo, that is a 50 kilowatter that's on our list, and I had not logged here, so... and then on 710, while looking for WAQI and others on 710, we managed to snag XEMP in Mexico City. So another Mexican station. That's number 103. There we go. All right, so that is that's what we heard this week. So a couple new ones in there, not a whole lot, but we'll take whatever we can get. See you guys mentioning in the chat about a Linrad tutorial. There's not anything specific out there. I know our friend Rick Knuth is really, really knowledgeable and super awesome about this Linrad stuff. I know he has offered and has helped quite a few DXers do like one-on-one screen shares and talking through and like showing the setup, because it's a bit of a learning curve from what I hear. I haven't done anything with it yet at all, but I hear there's a bit of a learning curve. And it takes some very specific setup that can be specific to your computer and your setup and your SDRs and things. So I am toying with the idea of doing a basic tutorial with Rick at some point, do a Zoom and then record it and put it up on the channel or something as a basic. He would probably then say, that's fine as a basic, but you're going to probably want to have him guide you through the specific setup for your configuration, which is probably true, because I think from what I have heard, it's pretty unique, and Jeff can confirm in the chat if it's pretty unique to each individual setup. So, but I hear really, really good things about using Linrad to do exactly what he just did, which was, really divide it out and separate those signals out and reveal the DX underneath. So I absolutely want to get involved with this and try it out. I've been kind of dragging my feet. But you know, because the CCC has been kind of doing it for me. But I see the results you guys get with Linrad, and I see the benefit, and I kind of want to try it out. So I think we're going to get there eventually, but just probably take a little time. Anyway, one thing that won't take you a lot of time, he says the Linrad learning curve will exercise your brain cells until they hurt. And the AFE822X comes with outstanding documentation on integrating Linrad. I'll have to look into that. I'll have to take care, Stephanie. I'll have to take a look at that, actually, that new SDR, because I haven't played around with that. See what all is there. You know what I mean? New SDR comes to the market. I'm like, really? All right. Let's talk about uploading air checks to YouTube. This is a question that came up recently. I think it was Mexico Mike J was asking about this process and kind of what we do here. And so I'm just going to show you how I do it. There's no right or wrong way really to do it. I mean, there kind of is, you know, but there's really not a right or wrong way. You need some sort of audio and visual component. Now that visual can be just a static photo with audio underneath it. You can do that if you're so inclined to do it that way. Probably the easiest way that most of us are doing is to grab a screen grab recording, like a video recording of audio and video of your screen, like your SDR screen. And that allows you to do an air check that way. So I'm going to show you the full process here of actually grabbing the air check, saving the air check, uploading it to YouTube, and kind of how I do it. So first off, you're going to want to have we're talking about specifically uploading to YouTube. There are other options you can do if you have like a Dropbox or a Google Drive folder you want to store them into and share out links that way and link them on your website or whatever. Go ahead. You probably, if you're doing that kind of stuff, you probably already know about all that anyway. What I'm talking about though is if you just want to upload your air checks to YouTube and then be able to share those out on social media, on Slack, you know, wherever it might be, on the IRCA forum, things like that, or just have it and go back every once in a while and look at it and listen and recollect. That's all. I like doing that, actually. So you're going to have a YouTube channel. So go to youtube.com and set yourself up a channel. I'm not going to go through all the demonstration on that. I think that part's pretty self-explanatory. Just setting up a channel, and then you can kind of customize it later on how you want to do it. But setting up a basic channel is pretty easy. And then once you've gotten that to the point where you know, at least have an account and get all that part set up, then you're going to have something that looks probably a little like this. This is my dashboard, my channel dashboard for YouTube Studio. Okay. So if I go to YouTube here, just youtube.com, I get something like this, right? It's going to take me to my channel actually, because I'm right at my channel. You'll see an option here under your channel for YouTube Studio. So that's how you can get to it. I just bookmark it to make it easier, but it's under your account, like pull down menu. You'll see an option for YouTube Studio. So then from there, you have a button up here on the top right-hand corner that says create. That's where you can upload videos from there. And so that's what we're going to be using. Now there is a way if you're using Bandicam, like I have here, this is Bandicam. And we talked about Bandicam before. It's an amazing bit of program, by the way, for recording screen grabs of your air checks off your SDR. Bandicam is fantastic. It's super cost effective if you want the actual licensed version. You don't have to do the license. You can do the free. It'll put a Bandicam watermark on there, which I didn't want. I wanted my own watermark on there, so I paid the $50 or whatever it was for the license. So there is an option here on Bandicam where you can upload directly to YouTube from the software, right? So I could click on my WKFI Wilmington here, click on upload, and do upload to YouTube, and then I can just do it here, right? And it's going to give me some of the basics. So if you're using Bandicam, that's one of the cool things about it, is you don't actually have to even log in and pull up the website here for your YouTube Studio. You can do it directly from Bandicam. Just click on upload and say upload to YouTube, and then it's going to give you the basics of what you put in here. And then you can fill your description out and do all this stuff. And then you can go back into the YouTube Studio after the fact and change your settings for, like, you know, do you want it to do this? Do you want it to be this? Do you want to add tags? All that kind of stuff. You can change that after the fact, but this at least gets it up there, gets you the basics. So that is definitely one thing that is really, really cool about Bandicam is you can upload directly from the software rather than have to kind of go in here and log in this way. I'm going to show you the login this way just in case you're not using Bandicam, okay? Or if you would rather do it that way and having all the more control over all the different features and stuff like that, okay? All right. So I'm going to find a clip here that I want to upload. I've been meaning to upload my ZBVI clip here. Now, for me, normally I like to do air checks that are a little more, we'll say, concrete, something like this. Actually, not that one. That was the other one I had. It was this one. This was one right from the SDR. Well, I can play the whole thing. So I like to have a nice crystal clear air check. You decide whatever you want to put on yours, like whatever kind of quality threshold you're going to use. So what we basically do here, I'm going to pull up my Air Spy here. So let's just pretend. I'm going to go over here to 870 because that's the easiest way I can do this. Okay, so this is a local WWL here in New Orleans. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull up Bandicam. Now I've got multiple monitors, okay? I've got 4 here. So if you've got more than one monitor, makes it super easy because you can keep this Bandicam window right here off on another screen. But if you don't, then you can minimize it here. There's a little window right here, a little arrow you can use to minimize or expand your list. And you can kind of put it down here in the corner wherever you want to. So you can record it just by hitting the record button, actually. And there's a couple things you'll want to set up over here in the general video tab, sorry. You want to make sure like you have your video and your audio settings correct, that it's looking in the right place and everything else. If you go into settings, you also have the option where you can come in here. You can say which output device you want to use. You can go in here and you can actually put in your logo. Like if you want to have if you have a logo, like we do here at DX Central, that you want to put on your video, like a watermark. You can put a text in here, like I've got our website addresses and things like that that goes on the air check. So you can do that. You can add those in there as well. Super, super easy. That way it kind of stamps that this is your air check, you know. Not big if you don't want to do that. But we're just going to go over here. I'm going to pull this off the screen here, hit record.
You can bounce it in frustration. He didn't slam it and not catch it. He bounced it hard.
I'll keep this on the screen here because you can actually see it's actually counting the time here and the size. And I've chosen which, oops, I'm not on the right display. There we go. Now it's going to be right. It tells you which display you're on. If you are on multiple screens, you can choose, you know, which screen you want it to record. You can do a specific window if you want to. It's really up to you how you want to do it. All right, stop. And so then it saves it here as in this format, like Bandicam, and then the date, the year, the month, the day, the time, your local time. You can rename that to whatever you want. My format I usually use is I'll do like the frequency first. I'll do then a dash, and then the call letters, a dash, the city and state and country, or city and country, and then a dash. And then this is super, super helpful and important for you. If you're like me and you get a backlog of these, this is going to save you. Put the date and time of the reception, and you'll see how I do it here. Like I'll say like 01/13/25 11:02 UTC. Or 11/22/24 1900, right? So I'll put in here the date and time that the actual reception itself took place. Because if you're going to put that in your video description, which I recommend that you do for context, you're going to want to have that. And you either have to watch the video for that, or in some cases, you may not be able to see that easily, depending on what software you're using. You can also put in there other things, like sometimes I'll put mileage in here, like here's 834 miles for this one, you know, things like that. So you can kind of put whatever kind of formatting you want to in here, but the bare minimum will be frequency, call sign, location, date and time of the reception, and that would be that. Okay, so now The next thing that I will recommend to you that you do, let me go in here to my Google Docs. I'm going to pull up, pull this off screen for a second. Just need to find, here we go. I have a Google Doc that I've saved here. That is my template that I use for the description, the video description. So I just have this saved. And then when I want to upload a new video, I just open up this Google Doc and I copy and paste this in. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and upload a video. So I'm going to go down here and find myself the video. So I'm going to select my file. I'm going to go to my Bandicam folder, which if you're using Windows, I put a little quick access folder over here on the left-hand side to get to it very easily. So now I'm just going to find one that I want to upload. So we're going to do the XEANT. Here, that's the one I want to use. Okay. So now it's going to pull up and it's going to start uploading the video. I just get rid of all this stuff because I have that already in my Google document that I just copied and pasted in. So all my copyright stuff, all my other stuff that I want to put in there is in here. I also put in links for the equipment that was used and things like that because I like to be able to point people to where they can find a copy of that or a version of it or whatever. Obviously, you put in the description what you want to put in, right? What you want to document in there. I have some formatting that I do here. I'm going to use a little vertical slash here. This is where is XEANT at? I didn't put my city in here. $770. Then I have to go find it because I forgot to write it down. There's that. Now I've got my location in there. I'm going to take that off because I don't need that. Then what I usually do is I'll just take this part right here with the location and all that. I'll just copy, paste that right over top of it right down here in the description. And then I'll just fill in that date. 12. That 2. 4 at 1900. Then I'll get rid of this on this side. This is just how I like to do it for me, for consistency and for cleanliness of everything. The next step is you don't have to have a thumbnail. I recommend a thumbnail. What I use for that is I use a program called Canva. It's free, but I do use a paid version for all the pro features and stuff. But Canva will allow you to come in and you can design your own little thumbnail that you want to use for your video. So here is an example. This is my thumbnail template that I use. So I would just go over here and I would just change my call sign, or my frequency rather, change the call sign. I'm going to then copy. I'm not trying to type this out manually. May have to do a little bit of adjustments on here. Oops. I'm gonna this right here. There we go. May have to adjust this to center it up as you want to. I'm a little picky about this stuff, so I get a little particular there. Download my file. And then I have a folder that I use here on my hard drive to save all of my thumbnails. So it'll pop this up. Then I go to Bandicam, thumbs. Now I'm going to minimize that. And now over here on my thumbnail is where I would put that in. XEANT. There we go. Okay. So now my thumbnail is on there. I do playlists for my all my air checks so that I can keep them very organized. I want to make sure that I can get to them easily. So I do things like I put it in there by frequency, by where I heard it from, by location. Let me see if Mexico is in here. Mexico, FM, or AM air checks by country, 770. Then I know I need to also put it in December. I have all kinds of little playlists that I've put in for myself to make it easier for me to find those. I'll just add it to that. There's also a tag section in here that I recommend if you're trying to get some attention for your channel that you'll want to use. Add some tags. I'll put in here, and how you do that, you just type in. So I'm going to say 770, then a comma separates them out. 770 kilohertz, comma, XEANT, comma, Mexico, comma, something like that. Just put your tags in there. All these other settings, I usually leave them as they are. Hit next. My channel is monetized, so I'm doing that. It helps us out here. You, if you're not monetized, you won't have to worry about this part. That little step right there. Video elements. I do this on my longer, like, how-to videos, but on the air checks, I'm just in and out real quick. I'm not worried about all that. It's going to check for copyright stuff. Then you want to come over here and say public if you want this to be something that everyone can view, or you can do unlisted if you just want to make it so that you have to send out the links to folks for them to be able to view it. You can do it unlisted that way. So I'm doing public because I want it to be available for everybody. So then we hit publish, and that's that. So now that's there. And the other thing that I do is in my logbook, because this is how I am. I have a field in my logbook that I use to track if I have an air check of a station. And then I'll put the actual URL in here in the logbook so that I always can get to it pretty easily without having to even go to the YouTube. I can just go right to my logbook. So that's a use case of a way that you can use that. So there you go. But that's really it. It's a super simple process. You just record your air check that you want to have, and upload it to, you can use whatever software you want to use there. If it's Bandicam, that's great, because it does have that option to upload directly from there. There is also a video recorder within SDR console that you can use. You can't do some of the customization stuff there that you can in Bandicam. So if you want to put like your name on there, like a website link or a logo, you can't do that in the one that's in SDR console. But if you just want a basic recorder, you can do that. You can use if you're using SDR console, you can just record it that way. Or whatever video recorder you might use, if it's like OBS or if it's the Game Bar or if it's Total Recorder. There's quite a few that are out there. The best one that I have found and that a lot of folks here use is Bandicam. It's fantastic. And so then you just upload your air check. You have you need a thumbnail. That way it's, easy for you to be able to recognize what it is. I recommend detailing your reception details in the video description, so it's all there. It kind of acts like a QSL, right? It's what we're replacing QSLs with now that QSLs are kind of not really that much of a commonality anymore. I mean, there's still people that get them every once in a while, but definitely not to the degree that we used to do back in the day. So there you go. All right. And Mike just said he got a notification on his phone that a new video's been uploaded. See? Perfect timing. Perfect. It's the process working. All right, so we're getting close here to top of the hour, so we're going to do some more live DX. We're going to try. We got WYGM just now on our last listen, so we're going to try our hand now at WAQI, Radio Mambi, down in Florida, and see if we can snag them down there, because that would be another new one for the challenge for us this week. It's a relog here, but it's a new one for the challenge. So let's go ahead and go down here now to 710. We can focus our efforts down there. If you guys have a station you want us to specifically go chase after this hour, let us know in the chat. More than happy to go look at that for you. Especially stuff that's local. Stuff out west is a little tougher right now till later on this evening. But if it's something here in the south, or WSB or WSM or something here in New Orleans, by all means, throw that frequency in the chat and let us know what you want us to check for, and we will do so. So here we go. Let's look at 710. And this DX session, by the way, is brought to you by... It is the Spectrum Monitor, spectrummonitor.com. That's where you want to go for more information about membership And there we go. You can, or not membership, about getting your subscription for the Spectrum Monitor. This is a great time to do it too, by the way. It's $24 for the entire year. So go get, $2 an issue, and you go get yourself the Spectrum Monitor. There's me in there talking about AM and FM DX every once a quarter or so, every 3 months. But there's tons of stuff in there about shortwave and ham radio and scanners. All kinds of good stuff. Antennas, satellite stuff, military stuff, you name it. It's in the Spectrum Monitor. This is the, filling the void that it was left by monitoring times and popular communications going away over the years. Spectrum Monitor has filled that void and done so very, very well. So I'm very proud to be associated with them. And one of the writers on staff of the Spectrum Monitor, because Ken's doing a fantastic job. So $24 gets you an entire year, or you can buy them $3 a piece if you'd rather do it that way. But $2 a piece, 24 gets you an entire year of a magazine devoted to your hobby that you love. That's a deal. Let's go. Waterfall timestamps. I haven't looked at. I haven't even looked at this yet. Oh, look at that. The waterfall is a JPEG. There you go. That's awesome. It's awesome. Good to hear that you guys are enjoying the writing. I had an idea for an article for my next one that I have to do. Now I forgot what the article was going to be about. Oh, nope. I just remembered. Yeah, all of my air checks, you'll see here, Jacob, if I go to my Bandicam folder. So this is my kind of recent stuff that I've recorded here, but look at this. I also have, this is my medium wave air checks folder. Then I have that sorted by location where they were heard. This is just Mandeville. This is just Mandeville that I haven't uploaded yet. That's just the stuff from here that I haven't, and that's just AM. You look at my FM air checks, and that's some of those, and you have more in these folders here. So like May 31st opening, May 19th opening, June opening, like all these folders have stuff in them too. So yeah, I am definitely very backlogged on uploading these air checks. Because there's all the stuff that I got in Vegas that I haven't uploaded yet. Oh man, I forgot about that. So yeah, I've got a bunch of work to do here. The TEF article, nice. Yeah, that's a great little radio, man. All right, let's see if we can pull up that Miami SDR again. I hear a Spanish station in there, but I doubt it's them. Go to Fort Lauderdale here. Nope. Was it not? It was it Boca? Was Boca the good one? That's a Boca Raton SDR on 710, and you can hear Rebeldy underneath them. I'm assuming that's Rebeldy. They kind of line the island on that eastern side with Rebeldy because of WAQI. right, let's see if we can parallel this up. I heard the rebellion echo there. I think I've got him. Yeah. Yeah. He's in there. It's not strong, but again, this echo technique works really well with that. Go a little wider. Hear him? I'm on my SDR now. You hear him? If you have headphones on, you'll be in your left ear.
DX Central Live, top of the hour alert.
Mute mine. So that guy right there talking is WAQI in Miami. I'm going to mute them.
Good night, Friday. Good night, Calvin, Andy, and Pat, and Rory. Good night, little Barney and Marty.
You're listening to
I just heard Rebellion with the Rebellion sounder.
over the holidays. But now, we're starting a new year off by helping you know by taking active liver supplements from New Orleans Everything.
Active liver contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke. All natural ingredients that help protect the liver, so this can protect you from toxins.
I think I hear whatever U.S. station that was that's coming into Boca Raton, which is probably WOR. I'm not hearing the echo anymore.
Music
ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by the City of
Yep, that's WOR. We have an echo in there now.
President Maduro to take back Venezuelans deported from the U.S. and to pick up 6 Americans, other South Americans.
Official NATO. The visit comes less than a month after Maduro was sworn in for a third term despite prevalent evidence.
I hear him now. I can hear him in there. Yeah. That deep voice is in there for sure. Now that Fox News station's covering him up.
American Parliament, host of the Fox True Crime podcast, and they came forward and they condemned Richard Ramirez fatally murdered at least 13 people in the state of California. This punished and satanic
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely heard him in there for a minute before that U.S. domestic talk station kind of reared up. I could hear his voice in there for sure. And then we had the echo earlier, so that's probably them, more than likely. So, all right. So let's do this real quick. I don't know. I anticipate that we'll have a show next week. It's the next 3 weeks after that I'm not sure about just yet. Mardi Gras season has arrived here in Louisiana. And Friday night is a great night for parades and spending time with family and whatnot. So, and we may actually get a chance to ride in the parade this year if I can get my local Jeep Association folks to help me out a little bit and get me some information on that. So we may be in one of the parades on one of the nights, but I'm not sure. So the next week we should be here, the 7th, isn't it? Or the 6th? I think it's the 7th. Yeah, 7th. We'll be here next week. The 14th, 21st, 28th. Definitely the 14th, 21st are the two that I'm kind of like, I don't know. We'll see. The 28th probably would be here unless we decide to go down to South Shore and do the big parades down there. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But probably I would say the next 2 weekends, after next week, the 14th and 21st, we'll probably not be doing a show those weeks. As a result, we have our next challenge we're going to launch next week, okay, which we'll announce on the show next week. And then that will carry over until the weekend of the 14th, 15th. And then we're going to take 2 weeks off from challenges and from the show. So we won't be doing a new challenge after this next one until, what was the date I had on that? I want to say it was around the 27th. So we're going to have a little bit of a Mardi Gras break here. So yeah, it was weeks 23 and 24. So the week of the 21st, we will not have a challenge that week. For sure, we're not going to have a challenge that week. And the week of the 28th, we're not going to have a challenge that week. Okay, so those 2 weeks. So this next one that we're going to launch next week, we'll do that for 2 weeks, like we have been doing. That will go. And then no challenge on the week of the 21st, no challenge on the week of the 28th. More than likely not going to be a show those 2 weeks either, or at least the 14th and 21st, not a show. The week of the 28th, we might do a show that week. I don't know. We haven't decided yet. And then, so everything returns for sure back the week of March the 7th. And that will be the next challenge that we announce. And it's going to be a fun one. And I'm not going to give you a hint, except look at your calendar. It's going to be a fun challenge that week. So there you go. That's kind of the lay of the land over there. I just want to give you guys a heads up. So we are going to now have a show next week. We will for sure. So we'll see you guys here next Friday. We're going to announce our next challenge, which will be another 2-week challenge. And then we're probably not going to have a show on the week of the 14th or the week of the 21st, maybe the 28th. And then everything gets back up and running on this week of the March the 7th. So that would be the next challenge after this one we're going to announce next week. So a little bit of a break in there, which is good because we're going to hit the stretch run here. The one we're going to announce this next week is pretty cool. It's really cool, actually. It's going to be a challenge. It's the name. But then after the 2-week break, we're going to have 4 more challenges left for this season, for season 4 of the challenges. 4 more challenges left, 8 weeks. And just looking at them, the last one's going to be more of a kind of a fun, loosey-goosey kind of challenge a little bit. But the next 3, well, next 4 if you include the one that we're announcing next week, these next 4, we're gonna want to break. You're gonna want to break in there for sure. So that's we'll definitely have a chance for some downtime in there. We'll spend some time with family and loved ones around here in the Mardi Gras season. Enjoy some time with that, and then come back and be rested and ready to go for the stretch run here, the last 8 weeks of the season after Mardi Gras is over. So for our sponsors, the National Radio Club, nationalradioclub.org is their website. Go look at it now if you haven't done so yet, about membership information. IRCA Online for the International Radio Club of America. Ditto with them. $10 a year. Can't beat that. And the Spectrum Monitor. Spectrum Monitor, thespectrummonitor.com is a website address for them. And again, $24 gets you an entire year worth of magazines from the Spectrum Monitor and gets you all kinds of information on shortwave, ham radio, satellites, longwave, AM, FM, utilities, pirates, military, satellite stuff, old radio stuff, antiques, and I mean, just you name it, it's in there, right? So $24 gets you that. So I definitely recommend, if you're a radio hobbyist, get the Spectrum Monitor at thespectrummonitor.com. We'll see you guys next week right here on DX Central Live, my friends. Take care. 73 Best of DX. We'll see.
Turning dials, feeling
This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live.